Good evening, everyone. Jillayne here. So happy that you're all here tonight practicing yoga. Hello, hello. So tonight we are going to dig in a bit with opening up the chest, and then we're going to move into some twists to continue to open up the ribs, the lungs, the diaphragm, making more space for oxygen in the body. So we've been focusing a lot on this. Tonight we're definitely gonna go in pretty deep. So you will need 2 blocks for tonight's practice. So a block for the head, a block for the chest. If you don't have blocks, you can absolutely modify with books or bolsters or cushion. So whatever you have, but you're going to need some support. So we're going to want the head block to be higher than the chest block. So the chest block, I'm going to start at the second height in medium width. So this would be narrow, and this is wide. And then the head block can be wide. So the block is going to go right behind on the scapulas. So the tips of the scapulas will be on the block. So you're going to position the blocks, and you're going to lie back. And then the head's going to go, the head block will go right beneath the head. If you would like to lift the head up, you can open up your hands, bring your chin to your chest. This feels really nice to relieve any stress or tension that's accumulated in the neck. So if you want to hang out here for a while, by all means. And as you lower the head, continue to pull the skull away from the cervical spine. This is going to lengthen the cervical vertebrae. Good. So the arms, we'll start with the arms out. This is a really deep chest opener. So if this is too much of an opening for you, you can put the chest block on the first height and then move the head block to the second height. Good. And we're going to start with feet together, knees apart, pressing the feet together, lift the buttocks up, and then you're going to grab onto the top of the buttocks flesh, extend it down towards the heels. So the tailbone's going to be extending in front of you. Good. If this is too much of an opening for the legs, you can get 2 blankets or 2 bolsters, 2 pillows, and put them up underneath the upper thigh. And I will start the timer. So if you're practicing live with me, it's Friday night. You may or may not have had a long week. All of your days may seem to be blending together. Whether or not you have a normal work schedule or week, or it doesn't really matter. In any event, this is an incredibly restorative and very deeply opening pose. If you have had a long week, allow your breath to be natural and allow your body to be heavy on the blocks. So we're just letting ourselves drape over the blocks, allowing the blocks to gently. It may not feel so gentle, but slowly with our breath, we're giving more of our weight to our blocks, allowing the blocks to come more into the body and into the spine. And I use the metaphor often of a block of clay. And with yoga, and especially with the props of yoga, it's as if we're molding a block of clay. So we're molding our structure. And what's really unique about yoga, and especially alignment-based yoga, is that we're putting the bones and the skeletal body in place, and then we're strengthening the muscles around that form so that the muscular body can hold the skeletal body in place. And this has amazing long-term benefits for the entire system, for the organs, for the nervous system, for the circulatory system. and it takes time. Remembering that we want the forehead and the chin to be at minimum parallel. If not, then the forehead should be above the chin. So the front of the throat is moving into the back of the throat, moving into the back body. And here, the back body is extending up into the front body. So we're expanding the back body. And in turn, then it is expanding the front body. If you feel at all like you're not allowing, the legs are not releasing, see if you can take some breath down to the lower half of your body and just giving your legs, your hips some love, some permission to release. So we keep our hips and our inner groins pretty gripped a lot of times. In Western culture, we're doing this a lot, whether it's sitting or even the way we walk. There's not a lot that we do habitually that opens up the psoas and the hip flexors. So opening up the hips like this can feel intense, and with time, the legs are slowly, the thigh bones are slowly going to make their way closer and closer to the floor. But this can also be an emotional holding of sorts. So be gentle with yourself, have patience with yourself. Good. And we're going to now actually bring the right leg in front of the left, coming into Siddhasana. Good, go ahead and bring the left leg in front now. So now that we are about 5 minutes into our practice, see if you can start lengthening the breath. So first we just want to let the breath be natural, let all of our parts and pieces arrive to our mat, arrive to the present moment. Once you feel collected, then you can start focusing on lengthening the breath, creating space between each thought. So now we begin to use the breath as a tool to assist in the opening of the body. So we're utilizing everything we can. So go ahead and spread the legs. The feet are going to be planted in the earth. Again, extending the tailbone. So we never want the back to be overly flexed. And if so, you're probably going to feel it in your sacrum or in your lower back. So that's why we lift up the buttocks. Extend the buttocks to the heels, extend. So it's like a gentle tucking, and more so than a tucking, an extension of the tailbone, and then we set the buttocks back down. Good. So now we actually are going to lift the buttocks up. The buttocks is going to come to the right, and then we're going to let the knees fall to the left. So this is a deep twist. Doing our best to stay aligned on our blocks. And as you can see here, my right leg is not resting on my left thigh. There is space between here. That's okay. If this is too much, you can put a support in between the thighs. So if that's a blanket or block or whatever you have, a pillow. This pose can seem quite restorative. However, there are so many things we can be focusing on. So if you want to make this an active pose, you can listen to my instructions. If you want to make this a restorative pose, you can tune me out and tune into your breath and find a rhythm there with yourself. For those of you that are interested in these points of alignment, these points of focus, what we're doing with the block horizontal is that we're opening the chest from top to bottom. So if you've been practicing with me, or if you've just started to practice with me right now, I'm especially focusing on the upper body, the chest, the lungs, the ribs, the diaphragm. And the more ability we have to contain a pranic flow of energy, the healthier we're going to be, the stronger our immune systems are going to be. And that's really the main focus right now, is keeping up our immune systems. And there's a lot of ways to go about that. So right now we're opening the chest from top to bottom. So the brick is pretty much right in between the chest. And as you can see with the knees to the left, there's a strong opening happening on the right side. We want to see if we can lengthen the left side. So can you relax the right ribs a little bit, and can you lengthen the left side of your body from the top of your pelvis to the bottom rib? So here on the left side, can you make more space? And in doing so, that left rib is going to start to free up. Remember this metaphor of a block of clay. So a lot of times I'm actually using my hands to adjust myself, to mold myself, to put myself in a proper position. Then I'll start to breathe, right? Then I'll start to set that. It's like a template that we want to set, or like a hologram we want to set. So the left rib, the left back rib cage is coming around to meet the right, and that's going to help our torso and our chest be parallel to the ceiling. So the upper body and the lower body are doing two completely separate things here. And see if you can bring your breath up the left column of the chest. There we go. So we'll just take a few more breaths here to accomplish this if you're staying with me. Let's take 3 breaths, inhaling up the left column of the body and seeing if we can get that breath to travel all the way up to the upper ribs and the upper lungs, to that space right below the clavicles. So if you feel here, there's this divot. So we're going to see if we can get the breath to come all the way up and to puff up that area. So the chest is moving with the breath. The chest is moving towards the chin. On the inhales, lengthening the left side body. Good. So using your inner left thigh, you're going to really engage the left leg for safe travel of the legs. Engaging the inner abdominal muscles. We're going to come back to neutral slowly. Feet together, knees apart. Extend the left leg. Extend the right leg. And just feel any difference. I'm a big fan of the repose. what effects are made on the body, on the breath, on the mind. Good. So we're going to inhale the legs back onto their feet, onto the earth. Legs bent. Again, extending the tailbone. We don't want any compression in the lower back. Pressing through the feet. We lift the buttocks up. Buttocks to the left, and now knees fold down to the right. You may have to adjust yourself. Sometimes that right and the direction that we twist that scapula can get a little bit tucked underneath. So if you need to help untuck that right scapula so that the chest can continue to be twisting to the left, however, we do want it to be parallel, but as we twist our legs to the right, the tendency is that the torso is going to want to follow. So we're counteracting that. So the chest is moving to the left. The legs are moving to the right. Arms are open. And then same thing for this side. So I'll go ahead and start the timer. Now we're going to be breathing especially into the right side body. You can start with breathing air up the right column of the chest. Lengthening the right side body, creating space between the top of the right pelvis and the bottom of the right rib. That right back rib cage moving into the front rib cage is rolling around to meet the left. So we're wanting to avoid this big splaying here of the left side body. So let's see if you can make that left back rib heavy. Imagine there was a weight being placed on your left rib cage right here. And this is going to allow the right side to keep completing the twist. With the legs, we are also lengthening the left side of the body here by the left outer hip rolling towards the wall, towards the space, towards the couch in front of you, away from the body. So the top hip rolls away from the body to lengthen the left side body, but we don't do it at the expense of the right side body. The head is neutral on the block. If you don't own yoga blocks, I highly recommend investing in at least 2, if not 4. You can generally find foam blocks for a very affordable rate. I have seen them, not that I want to promote Walmart right now, but if you're living in a rural area and there's not a lot of accessibility, if you have limited internet access, whatever your situation is, they are out there. And Hugger Mugger is another great company that I really appreciate their products. I believe their foam blocks are around $16. And they're always having sales and deals. I use blocks a lot in my practice, and I would love to continue practicing with you, so I would love it if you had sufficient equipment at home for your home practice. And if that's not an option, then we can always get creative. I've definitely done so traveling. I have done many things, used magazines, it's getting creative is wonderful as well, but I recommend it. Good, so engaging the inner right thigh, engaging the abdominals, keeping the lower back and sacrum safe. We're gonna bring the legs up. Buttocks comes back to neutral. I definitely know that I'm hearing some pops and some crackles happening in my spine. Feet together, knees apart. Extend one leg, extend the second leg. Notice the difference. Allowing the breath to travel all the way up into the upper lungs, the thymus, the heart spreads across the upper chest, collarbones wide. And actually that energy continues to spread all the way out, down the arms, through the wrist, through the palms, out the fingers. All right, so we're gonna inhale both legs up, and now here's gonna be the trick. Keeping the buttocks and keeping the head planted on the block, we're gonna see if we can lift the chest and rotate the block under our chest so that it's long ways. And if you need to come up, that's okay. So here we're seeing how much can we expand the chest. So now the block is going to be vertical, and then you can actually, let's keep the head block exactly where it's at. If you have a pretty open chest and bringing the head block down to the second height still maintains a parallel surface line from the forehead to the chin, you can bring the head block down to the second height, or you can just go ahead and keep it at the third height. Good, so we want that chest block to be pretty much all the way up at the base of the neck. So it's going to come up, not quite up to the shoulders, but it's going to be pretty high. So that chest block is going to be right behind the sternum. Again, lifting the buttocks up, extending the tailbone, setting the buttocks back down, feet together, knees apart. So now we are opening up the chest left to right. So we're pretty much splitting the chest into 4 quadrants: top, bottom, left, right. Allowing a few moments for the legs to release. If there's any gripping happening, see if you can allow the inner thighs to totally release, allowing the hips to let go, inner groins to soften. If you feel these inner groin muscles here, they're probably like cable rods, like steel rods. They're really tense, and we want to keep seeing if we can soften these inner groin muscles, getting the energy to move from the inner thigh down towards the knee to lengthen the thigh bone. And one thing that really helps to accomplish this is if you press your feet together to lengthen the thigh bone. Although this isn't what we're primarily focusing on tonight, this is what we're doing with the second half of the body, so it's good to be aware of. We don't just want a collapse here. I had one teacher who calls it plopasana. We're seeing if we can avoid plopasana. So again, depending on how active you want to make this pose, you press the pinky line, the outer line of the foot together to lengthen the thigh bones. This is also going to engage the outer hips, the outer glutes, and protect from any overstretching. So we don't want to overstretch the tendons, and that's where you really have to tune in with yourself. Is this comfortable? If not, absolutely, that's where the other 2 blocks, block number 3, block number 4, place them right underneath your upper thighs. If this no support feels like too much of an extension for you. You're moving the chest towards the chin with the breath. So let's go ahead and bring the right leg in front of the left, coming into Siddhasana with the legs. Switching across of the legs, so left leg in front of right. You're having a tingling sensation in the hands and the arms. That's natural. The blood flow will return in just a moment. All right. So engaging the inner thighs. Inhale, we're going to bring the legs up. Feet on the earth. Extend the tailbone. And now we're going to bend our arms, press into our forearm, again, seeing if we can expand the chest, lift the chest up off the blocks. Can you reach underneath? Remove the chest block. Remove the head block. One of my favorite things to do. And I use my index fingers and I place them right at, it's called the occipital ridge, and there can be a lot of tension held there. So I use my index fingers to lengthen the occipital ridge away from the spine. It can be a big release of energy. Hang out here as long as you need, and then when you're ready to come down, remembering to extend the skull away from the spine. So because of the vertical nature of how we've evolved, there can be, due to gravity, a great deal of compression from the skull into the spine, just the same as there's generally a great deal of tension where the lumbar meets the pelvis and the sacrum. So these are places that we're really working to find a lot of space and length. Good. So let's bring feet together, knees apart, roll the shoulders back, opening up the arms, and then extend the left leg, and then extend the right. Taking a moment to feel your weight on the earth. Good. Extend the arms above the head, and let's bring the legs together too. So instead of just being completely relaxed and open, we're going to bring the legs together, feet together. Feet are going to be flexed, so the feet are perpendicular to the earth. Extend the Achilles heels to lengthen the back of the leg, and then we're going to extend the arms above the head. Palms are going to be facing up. Press out through the ball end of the big toe and press the thighs into the earth. Imagine we were in Tadasana here, so really we're just in like Supta Tadasana, lying Tadasana. Good, keep extending the arms away from the feet, extending the rim of the pelvis away from the bottom rib. Continue to extend the tailbone to the heels so we're not arching the lower back. Palms facing the ceiling, and now we're going to have the palms facing one another. Extend the fingertips away. Now we're going to rotate the palms to face the earth. Finding the external rotation in the shoulders. Keep extending the Achilles heels, extending the heel, press out through the ball end of the big toe, and then inching the fingers away from the body. So ideally, if you can see my hands, my palms are on the earth, and I'm using my fingers against the earth for traction to keep finding more extension in the spine. 3 deep breaths here. Keep pressing the thighs into the earth. Good, and then allow everything to release. Keeping the knees close to the earth. Keeping the knees close to the earth, we're going to bend the legs, bring them all the way up and around until the inner thighs meet one another. You can hug the shins, come into a little ball. And then we're going to rock up and down the spine 3 times. Let this be playful and fun and feel good, like a massage. It is a massage. And coming all the way up to seated. Oh, so there's a lot of extension happening in the spine. We're going to get our 2 blocks. And we're going to place them on the medium height and long ways. So we're going to sit on them like so. I'm going to pull it back towards the back of my mat here. I'm going to go ahead and sit up on them. I'm going to bring feet together, knees apart, so coming into Baddha Konasana. And we're going to use both hands. This is a balancing pose. Pull the inner thigh back. Pull the inner thigh back so that we're up on the sits bones. Pull the heels as close to the block as possible. Pressing in again to the outer line of the foot to lengthen the thigh bones. Here you're probably going to be able to feel this more. Pressing into the outer line of the foot, lengthen the thigh bones. I probably just got like 2 inches closer to the earth. So we're going to work into some twists. So twists are one of the best ways to find length in the spine. And once we find this length in the spine, we can get breath further up into the chest, the lungs, the sternum, the thymus, and then up into the crown of the head. So there's oftentimes there can be some work or some excavation that needs to happen between here, between the belly, and then getting breath up in here, up into the chest. So there can be this break, and getting the breath to come up out of the belly can take some work and can take some opening. And some of us, even myself included, up until a few years ago, I don't think I had ever really felt that freedom. So by finding length in the spine, there's going to be space for that prana to flow more freely. So for now, continuing that pressure of the outer line of the foot, lengthening the thigh bones. Make sure you're not leaning forward, so we want the weight to be directly over the sits bone, so shoulders directly over the hips. Good, we're gonna grab onto opposite elbow. Inhale, I'm gonna come up. Pause here. You can grab onto the skin right below the elbows and pull it up. So we're gonna again lengthen the spine here. 3 deep breaths. Up and down 9 times. Good, extend up, extend, extend, extend. Now we're gonna open the front of the chest. Elbows are gonna come behind you. You can even look up a little bit, coming into a little bit of a back bend. Inhale, breathing into the back ribs, extending the elbows away again. Exhale, opening up into the front body. Inhale, back body. Exhale back to neutral. Now we're going to open up the left side of the body. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, open up the right side of the body. Inhale back to neutral. Now, just like when we were in the twist, when we were lying down on our backs, inhale, lengthen the spine. Now see if you can open up the left side of the body with as little contraction or shortening on the right side. So a lot of times when we think, oh, open up the left side of the body, this can feel really good, but there's this, there's a lot of shortening happening here, which is fine, but we're going to experiment with extend the right side of the body, keep the right side of the body long as we open up the left side. 3 breaths. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, inhale, extend. Now we're going to open up the right side of the body without shortening the left side. So keep the left side body long as you open up the right side. Keep the left side body long as you open up the right side. Good. 3 breaths. Inhale back to center. Now we're gonna keep the arms up, switch the grasp, the clasp, the opposite forearm in front. This is gonna open up the opposite shoulder. Grab onto opposite elbow, extend. I like to pull the skin here on my tricep up, and this helps me lengthen when I pull my skin. Extending up, 9 times up and down. See if you can keep a softness in the face, so we're not wanting to grip the tongue, grip the jaw, grind the teeth, furrow the brow. I lost count. Good, last one. We're gonna inhale, extend up. Now this time, we're going to inhale to open up the front body. Last time we were exhaling to open up the front body. So inhale, open up the front body. Back body compresses. Exhale. As we open up the back body, we don't want to sink down. So keep extending up. Exhale. Breathing into the back of the ribs. Inhale, opening up the front body, front of the chest. Exhale, opening up the back body. Inhale back to neutral. Extend. Now let's see, let's open up the left side body. And here we're going to allow this shortening to happen. So we're just going to feel the extension, all the attention is going to be on the left side. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale. Inhale back to neutral. Extend. Now keeping the right side body long. Keep this long. And if you want to actually let go and take your right hand, grab onto your right rib cage and lift it up as you extend over, that's okay. Like I said before, just see if you can resist the urge of bringing the arms down. We're going to get some good circulation flow once we finally bring the arms down. So what this is going to help with, it's almost like a seesaw, right? If you were doing class with me, our last class, we were doing front, back, like a seesaw to open up both sides so that we can find more expansion to broaden the ribs. Now we're doing the same to the side body. And where this is really going to come in, this is going to be really useful, is in binds and twists. Because in order to lengthen and find that space to have the arms bind all the way around, if we're doing a really deep twist, you need the extension of both side bodies for that to happen. Okay, it's inhale back to neutral. Exhale. Inhale, extend. Exhale, we're going to open up the right side body. Keep the left side body long. Again, if you want to release the left hand, lift the left rib cage as you find that rainbow arc, that opening on the right side body without shortening the left as much as you can, or you can keep the arms up. Inhale back to neutral. Now we're going to go in a circle, so we're going to take that all together. So let's exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and now we're going to go clockwise. Some massage for the sits bones if you didn't notice. Move at your own pace. Seeing if we can smooth it out. So opening the front as much as possible, the left or right, the back, the left. One more time around. Opposite direction. Last one. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, straighten the arms, keep them up. We're going to bring the palms pressing into one another. Press the palms together, extend the fingertips up, up, up. Keep pressing the palms into one another. Inhale, look up. Exhale, continuing to lengthen the arms. Keep lengthening, keep lengthening. Come down slowly. Good. Back of the palms on the thighs. Take a few moments to feel the difference. Good, gently opening the eyes, keeping the face soft. remembering how amazing it is to have a body, giving thanks for all the things that the body can do, and giving thanks for the things that the body can't do too. These will be points of growth. All right. Okay. So, engage the inner thighs. Inhale, bring the legs up. Woo! You're gonna probably feel that. Lean over to the right, grab onto the left ankle, and we're gonna bring the left leg back. So left leg is gonna be in Virasana. Pull the right foot in. Good, and then you're gonna drop the right leg down. The right leg's gonna be in a Siddhasana pose. So we're gonna see if we can tuck that right ankle right up to the brick. So the sole of the foot is gonna be supine. And then we want the knees to be at the same line. So I'm gonna need to pull my right knee back just a little bit. Same with the back foot. We don't want the back foot to be far away from the body, so we're going to bring that back ankle in. So it's going to be touching the block. This is sometimes known as half and half. So half Virasana, half Siddhasana. All right, so we have prepared the spine for some deep twists. Here we come. Extend the arms out, inhale the arms up. Lengthen the spine. This probably feels really easy now compared to what we just did. Extend the spine up. So we've been practicing this a lot lately, so we're going to twist to the right, and what are we going to do? We're not going to let the head follow. So just like when we were lying down, most of the attention is going to be on the right side. We're going to see if we can bring the attention to the left side. Just like when we were doing the side-to-side twist, obvious extension is going to be on the left side. But can we find the length on the right instead? Good. Lower the arms all the way down. So we're up on the block, so most likely, unless you have really long arms, you're probably not going to touch the earth. So what we can do is let's back off a little bit, and on an exhale, we're going to do a rather strong twist to the right, and can you swing the arms around? This is where, if the arms do not reach, you can use a strap. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my strap to show you. And there's a lot of things you can do in lieu of a strap. A belt, for example. So you would put the strap up over the upper right thigh, or up underneath the upper right thigh. So when I twist, if I can't get my left hand to my outer right thigh, I can grab onto the strap instead. Right arm swings around, and you could do the same thing with the left thigh. If you can reach, that is great too. So I'm going to swing my arm around. I'm going to set the timer. Good. So I'm using the body as traction. After we've come into this twist, then you can release the head. Chin stays in alignment with the sternum. Another option here is if you want to use your right hand to grab on to your upper left arm, and then bring your left hand over to the right hip. So for the first minute and a half, so we're holding this twist for 3 minutes, for the first minute and a half, we're going to keep the chin in alignment with the sternum, working with the dorsal body, so working primarily with the thoracic spine. And then the second minute and a half, we'll turn the head to gaze over the right shoulder. Good. Now we're gonna rotate at the cervical spine. Inhale, find extension. Keeping the extension, you're going to release the binding of the arms. And come back to neutral. So I'm going to check out what's happened is that my left leg came way in front. So that is not ideal. So I'm going to move my left leg back, remembering that if you were to take a measuring tape from the end of your yoga mat to both knees, you'd want it to be the exact same measurement. So in that twist, what happened is I allowed my left leg to come forward. I'm human, I am a student, I'm a practitioner, and I use this as really good information for the second side. So what I'm going to do, what that means is that too much of my weight was on my right sit bone. I still want to keep my weight equal above both sits bones and allow the twist to happen more in the spine. It's a lot of work, as I'm sure you can feel. Upright twists are no joke, so having a lot of compassion on ourselves, doing the best we can. All right, and then that's the more reward and payoff there will be. Extend the arms, inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, keeping the head center, we're going to twist to the left. So now, because of what happened on the second side, immediately my attention is going to stay planted into my right sit bone. So my head is staying in the same place while my ribs are doing the work. These stubborn little things don't really want to move, but inch by inch, breath by breath. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower the arms down. Chin in alignment with the sternum. Bring the timer to the side. Good. So here, normally we would use our fingertips on the earth, but we're a little bit too high, so we're going to go deeper into the twist. So now we're going to use some more of an effort, and this effort needs to come on the exhale. So inhale, find extension. Exhale, find the effort and allow the arms to swing. Right hand comes onto the outer left thigh. Left hand comes onto the inner right thigh. Again, if the arms don't make this extension, you could even get a long sleeve t-shirt or a pair of yoga pants that have two legs, so much. So definitely go find whatever you can to help yourself get into this pose. I'm gonna start the timer again. All right, here we go. If you want to do the bind on the second side, the left hand comes behind the back, the left hand grabs on to the right arm, and then that right arm swings around. Remembering for the first minute and a half, we're going to keep the chin in alignment with the sternum, focusing on the ribs and primarily on the thoracic spine. For me, I'm going to keep my attention on my pelvis and not allow this right thigh bone to come forward. We want to make sure that we're not compressing on the right side body here. So I'm going to keep lengthening the back right ribs. The left ribs move in towards the spine. Now we're going to allow the head to complete the rotation, gaze over the left shoulder, rolling the shoulders back. Resisting the urge to settle. So using each breath as an opportunity to find more depth and more space. It's only 3 minutes. You can think about it like that. Only 3 minutes. Keep the extension of the spine. Inhale, find length. Exhale, release the bind of the arms. Keeping the length, come back to neutral. All right. Take a few breaths to feel. So we're going to lean over to the right, grab onto the left ankle. Inhale, keeping the calf and the hamstring connected. Plant the left foot. Inhale, the right leg comes up. Like I said, great massage for the sits bones. Find length in the spine. You can roll the shoulders back, widen the collarbone. So sometimes when we twist, right, that back shoulder wants to come forward. It's a lot of work, and it's really fun to train that back shoulder, because when we're twisting here, obviously the back shoulder is going to have an external rotation. We want to keep that external rotation on the front shoulder too. A lot of times, and especially with the bind, that shoulder is going to come forward. Can we keep the shoulder back and twist through the spine? So it's one of the best things to do for your body and for twists is to train the shoulders, to train the head to stop working and allow the spine to do the work, because that's really where we want to feel it. All right, so now we're going to lean over to the left, grab onto your right ankle, second side. So now right leg is coming into Virasana. That right foot is going to come back, and then the left thigh folds down. Bring the left ankle up into the block. Rotate the sits bones. And then check the thighs out, check the knees out. Are they equidistant to the edge of your mat? So before we get into the twist, something I'm gonna briefly touch on is that I have a teacher who calls this pelvic head washing. So we're neutralizing the pelvis, even though again, all of the attention now is on the upper body. We're still working with the lower body. So there's an internal rotation happening in the Virasana leg. So the upper inner thigh is moving towards the right heel. The left leg that's in Siddhasana, this left heel is moving towards the left sits bone. It's an external rotation. And so we were switching from side to side. So this is really healthy for the heads of the femur and to release any binding there, and that's going to free the pelvis. So lots to talk about on that subject. But for now, we're just going to do the work, and we will get into that in another session in more detail. For now, we're going to complete our work with these deep twists. So extend the arms, inhale up. How fun it is to find more space in the body. The palms are going to face behind us. Inhale, extend. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing, but with opposite legs. All right, extend. I'll be a little more quiet this time around so you can feel. Just continue hearing all of my instructions in your head and repeat them to yourself. External rotation of the front shoulder. Allow the head to complete the twist by gazing over the right shoulder. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, release the binding of the arms. Now we're going to bring the arms up this time. Lengthen the spine. Exhale back to neutral. Inhale, extend the arms to the ceiling. Exhale, arms come all the way down. Gently open the eyes. Good, last one. Allow the head, cervical spine to complete the twist, gazing over the left shoulder. Then extension in the spine. Release the binding in the arms, palms facing up. Inhale. Exhale back to neutral. Inhale. Extend the arms. Exhale. Keep extending as you lower all the way down. Allow the extension to happen until your arms come all the way down. Keeping the extension, the arms bend, palms facing up on the thighs. So I'm trusting that when we do this repose that you're getting the breath to come up into the upper chest. So we're integrating all of that work that we did in the beginning of class. And if not, no worries. We'll take 3 more breaths for you to practice that. So we've created so much strength and length. And now we're going to allow us to receive the benefits of that. Gently opening the eyes. So we'll lean over to the left, grab onto the right ankle, keep the calf and hamstring connected. I'm going to pull that leg around, plant the right foot, lean over to the right, plant the left foot, rolling the shoulders back. We're going to bring the weight on top of the feet and we're going to flip the bricks down into the lowest level. They're still going to be side to side. And then we're going to extend the legs out. Upavishta Konasana. Should feel really nice on the legs. So extending the heels, extending the Achilles heels. If you like, you can bring your hands in front of you and gently keeping the spine long. So we want to avoid any rounding. So if this is good for you, if you just want to stay here, continue to find this length, amazing. If you want a little bit of an extension in the upper inner groins, keeping the spine long, so I'm not allowing the back to round. And if that means that I stay here, I stay here. So I'm really asking you to check in with yourself and to not go further than what the extension of your spine allows you to do. So I'm going to walk forward. I'm going to pause right about here. I'm going to tuck the chin and I'm going to extend the crown of my head away from my tailbone, engaging my thigh bones, engaging my quadriceps, pressing out through the ball ends of the big toe and lengthening the back of my legs, so extending my heels away from the body. Good, inhale, walk back. Grab onto the inner thighs. Bring the legs up and in. Come onto your feet. Remove the blocks. And if you have a bolster, go ahead and grab it. If you just have blankets, that will also work. So we're going to come into a supported child's pose here. So my thighs are going to be in a V, a bit wide, and I'm going to pull my bolster into my body. I'm going to press down on the bolster here because, again, I'm not wanting so much of a rounded spine here. I really want to see if I can hinge over the bolster, lengthen the back, allow the ribs to press into the bolster. And then you can either have your forehead on the bolster in neutral, or you can bring one side down. So this should feel really nice. And noticing that with the compression of the front of the ribs, you're going to feel this extension and expansion on the back body. So really allowing that to happen. Allowing the back ribs to broaden. And then if you have your cheek or your head turned to one side, one cheek resting on the bolster, go ahead and change directions. Inhale to neutral. Slide the hands back to where they're under the shoulders. Gently press the body up. And press the bolster away from the body. And we're going to bring the thighs together. Coming into Vajrasana, Thunderbolt pose. You can move the flesh of the buttocks out of the way. Rolling the shoulders back, lengthening the spine, gently tucking the chin. Palms facing up. If you'd like to come into a mudra, you can. I really like Jnana Mudra, tip of index finger, 2 tip of thumbs, and 3 fingers extended. The wisdom of knowledge. The mudra of knowledge and wisdom. I'm all blissed out from that. So we'll take a few breaths here to close our practice. And gently open the eyes. An upward tilt to the sides of the mouth. Release the mudra, bringing the hands together at the heart. Giving gratitude for everything that we can do, everything that we cannot do at the moment. Offering compassion to ourselves and to those around us and to the world at large. Namaste. Again, my name is Jillayne, and I appreciate you tuning in and practicing with me. And more than that, I appreciate you taking the time for yourself and for your own practice and for your own peace of mind and well-being and health of all the elements of yourself. Mental, emotional, spiritual, psychic. It's all connected. So I'll see you again, and if you have any questions, make sure to comment below or comments, and I'll see you all again soon.